So, and what many don't know about Abby is she is a vegetarian, correct, Abby?
Yes.
Oh.
Is she going to fold under questioning?
Yeah, no.
Would
We're gonna
you
put
or would you
spotlights on
not
her.
call yourself a vegetarian?
Yes.
Objection?
How many years have you been a vegetarian now?
6.
Wow, 6 years. Do you miss a good juicy steak?
Not really.
Yeah, yes, she does.
Now, hold on. Let me ask a question. So you're a vegetarian, you are not a vegan, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're eating dairy products. We're utilizing the animal to make us food. We're just not viewing the animal as food.
Yes.
All right, there we go. All right. So as a and now
Steve needed that definition.
I did. I didn't know what was going on. Now they're from the Chicago area. We're not going to say where exactly, but
Give us your address, BB.
yes, we're sending everybody there. What are some of the better vegetarian restaurants that you prefer in the Chicago area?
I really like the Chicago Diner. I think Native Foods is a good one. There are several that are really, really well thought of and really good that are actually inside Chicago. We don't get into the city that much, so it.
Just vomited. I'm sorry. What do you? So, like at the Chicago, what's a good? I guess what is an Abbey dish? Like, what is the dish that?
They're famous for their Reubens.
Like a vegetarian Reuben?
Yes.
How does that work?
It's,
Magoo don't believe you about that.
Yeah, my dog has no idea what you're talking about. So a Reuben typically is corned beef, or Russian dressing,
And about 6 inches high.
and
Just-
coleslaw. What is on a vegetarian?
It's sauerkraut, not coleslaw.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct. Keep it OG. Thank you for the correction, baby. So, what is on a vegetarian Reuben?
It's seitan instead of corned beef.
It's Satan.
I call it Satan.
So you put Satan on the
what is seitan?
to deal with the devil.
Yes. Do you have
It's
to
wheat
play the
gluten.
fiddle? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wheat gluten,
Yes.
which is what the Impossible Burger is made out of.
AKA wheat meat.
Wheat meat.
As far as the meat substitutes go, though, from a non-vegetarian standpoint, it is the closest facsimile to meat from a
Yeah.
taste standpoint.
Okay. Yeah, because we're gonna try the Impossible Burger later on in this, and that's the main ingredient of that. Correct. Now, the Impossible Burger is not vegan, correct?
I believe the Impossible Burger is vegan. I think the one from White Castle isn't because they serve it with cheddar cheese.
Okay, that's the okay. You get
What-
this,
now
Steve?
what- now
The patty's all plant-based.
Now
Yeah,
there's
that's
the
the wheat meat, as BB calls it.
The
affectionately.
Impossible Burger
Or
tastes
Satan.
like an actual burger, right?
Correct. It's
What were
meant
those-
to replicate an actual.
What was
burger.
the other four they had that had the weird like Asian flavorings and stuff?
Those
on
were
it?
just pure vegetarian.
Yeah, I
offerings.
tried
They're
those.
Yeah, those
Dr.
are
Prager's patties. It's like a national brand.
Wow.
So it sounds like White Castle's appealing to someone.
They've actually made a huge effort in the last couple of years to.
Wow. And meanwhile, Arby's is getting crazy. Arby's is the exact opposite.
Let's
of
deep
Castle.
fry meat. Let's
Arby's
add more
don't give a
meat.
damn.
So in the ideal situation,
Yeah, they've got
when you
Archer.
two went out, would there be an Arby's and White Castle next to each other? So Bill could get him an Arbinator, and you can get the Impossible.
Well, there's no
Burger.
problem with me getting regular sliders at a White Castle. which
Sliders are
impossible.
delicious.
Do you, now, BB, being someone who's married to a vegetarian, a pretty staunch vegetarian, do you feel any pressure? Or are you just like, screw this, man? I need a burger.
No, you know when like for example, when we travel places, she'll typically find a place that has a vegetarian menu or at least a lot of vegetarian options, and I'll try vegetarian.
You give it a
foods.
shot, but
Yeah,
not-
no, but typically I make sure I get my standard, meat meals.
yeah.
Like today, we went to the burger spot in downtown Plymouth, and we got to go order from there. And they've got a vegetarian menu and a lot of vegan options, but they can still do the meat for him.
So what'd you think of that? What'd you think of the vegetarian spot over there?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah. What'd you get? Like, is it?
I got a tofu coney and
I'm out, BB. You're better.
Well, I had regular hot dog
straight up
conies.
coney.
I had conies.
A tofu coney.
Wow.
And you thought it was pretty good? You thought it was
yeah, I
straight?
thought it was good.
Wow.
Steve's dying.
Yeah, we've been there before.
Oh,
that
that's,
against-
that's a regular staple when you come back home.
That would splat
Well.
against the wall when I threw it.
Do they form it to look like a hot dog?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Because a
Tofu
lot of
coney.
people get
I
like
heard it all
offended
now.
with that. Like the fact that they try to like mimic meat and stuff like that. Like people get like super wound up about that. It's crazy.
Well, but if you're gonna have to try some vegetarian food, it's better that they try. The closer they can get it to tasting sort of like what you're used to, the better off you are.
Yeah.
That Chicago diner that you mentioned, for example, does a really good job of making the meat substitute, options taste as close as possible.
So give us a time, BV, where you tried to be the good husband and you ate and it was like hell no. It was just the worst.
Well,
thing.
are you familiar with raw foods?
Raw.
So
raw
Monday
foods
Night
are
Raw?
like strictly
We're talking
organic,
about no. We're
not
talking about
processed at all?
uncooked.
I'm sorry.
Raw, as in the
Like
food
you
is
just
both
went out in the
vegetarian
field
and not. It's been prepared but not cooked.
Okay.
So there was a place, 10 or 15 minutes from us that Abby found and wanted to try. It was called Borrowed Earth Cafe. It has since shut down, by the way.
Yes.
Was there
So we
hot
go
dogs
in
there?
and they have
Coli or
these.
salmonella?
They have these raw vegetarian meats. So I go there and I'm thinking it's going to be sort of something like this, like a Chicago diner type thing where they make an attempt. So I ordered the lasagna. It was basically just this like paste. Thick paste of like green and red. I don't even know what vegetables they were. That was just stacked in a square, I guess, to try to look like. And it was the single most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth. I got 2 or 3 bites and I just refused.
Let me ask
I
the
was
question
done.
though, too. Ballpark, what'd you pay for something like that?
I think that
you
I
paid
wanna-
a douche tax.
No, it was something like 12 or 14 bucks.
That's not as bad as I thought it'd be.
Still, man, for something you were like, ooh.
The only thing at that place that was halfway decent was the they had desserts. So there was, I can't remember which kind of cake it was,
I
but
think it was a raspberry galette.
yeah, and it
I think it was. I'm 90% sure she knew exactly.
yeah, and it was pretty decent.
That was the same
But-
guess I was going. A raspberry galette.
I don't know what the hell a raspberry galette is, but
But it
yeah,
tasted straight.
yeah, but everything else, like literally. First of all, like the couple that ran it, the dude in the back was like, think of like 50-year-old hippie,
Crunchy granola guy, yeah.
white dude with like attempted dreads.
Oh, wow.
Looked like he hadn't showered in a month and a half. The restaurant
use some
itself,
paste.
the restaurant itself had such a foul stench I couldn't stand it.
Wow.
Like I was starting to gag by the time
Like a
we left.
BO whiff or
No, just
Like
like,
a-
Like
a
more curry.
like dirt?
have you ever have you ever been around someone that's done like a vegetarian smoothie and they just put a whole bunch of veggies together in a blender and shoot it, and that just weird
Those people aren't in my life.
well no a weird combination of vegetables all at one time plus like a faint musty smell to go on top. It was I'm sitting there like yeah no, it was that one was a major fail.
So now are you, well, I guess, Abby, are you like a smoothie type person? Do you do like a lot of that stuff too? Or?
Yeah, I do the smoothies. I've got a blend tech. Do the spinach ones mostly. They're not that bad. They're not.
I'm mostly hillbilly. And I love
98%
98.9% hillbilly. And I love a lot of vegetables. And when I go to Bill's and Abby's house, I see a lot of kale and stuff in there. And or green leafy shit of some sort. And I went home and after one of the trips there, and I thought, I'm going to try kale. I like a lot of vegetables.
That's a tough eat, man.
Kale is the
You
worst.
like-
I do not like
Your
kale at
jaw
all.
gets tired
Oh.
chewing on it,
All
man.
these
It's like
hipsters and these
lettuce.
kale
the
can
only
beat
way
it.
the only way she's ever made it or that I've ever had it that I didn't mind was you put in the oven, put a little olive oil on it, why not, and cook it in the oven. It makes like
That's
little
the way-
kale chips.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
that made it
hard.
that made it somewhat edible.
The way we made it was a little bit of oil in a frying pan. You just did it till it's soft and you eat it. And I was like, oh! I felt like Popeye.
So-
Eat spinach.
What, do you typically like shop at Whole Foods and stuff like that?
Whole
that-
Foods is so expensive that no, we don't usually shop.
So
at.
is there like a local gig that you typically shop at
Yeah,
over
it's-
in Chicago?
It's called the Garden Fresh Market.
Garden Fresh Market. Wow. How much of this stuff do you throw out a week? And be honest.
More than I probably should.
Yeah, dude. Because we buy produce, we
Well,
throw
it's
out
a
like
lot
half
of
of that
work.
crap, dude.
It
It's a
is.
ton
That's
of work.
the thing, and you can't buy. Remember back in the day, we used to talk about how someone would make a killing if they could ever mass produce, like individuals for single people, individual.
McMeals. and
Yeah,
stuff like-
yeah. But try buying produce for
like a person.
or for a meal.
yeah.
Even if you're good
Or
and
for-
like you go Sunday and go shopping, by Wednesday, most of that stuff's mushy and
Dude,
gross.
it's rough, man.
So it's like you
It's
got to eat
rough.
it fast.
Yeah.
Do like a good squash.
So, good squash. How are you on squash, Abby?
I'm okay with squash, and they usually have a shelf life of about 2 to 3 months. So you're probably
Oh,
good.
look at that. That's a good
We
one. You
leave
get
it on
yourself a
the
nice
counter.
butternut and leave it there.
like a good butternut.
So you're saying that avoid the what was the name of the or
Oh,
the,
it's gone.
It's gone, and then the good place is Chicago Diner is what
Yeah.
you're a big fan.
Anything that has the word raw involved with it, run.
Run for the hills, huh?